My name is Fusaya Mary Kawamoto. I was born in Vancouver, BC, in room number 4 at Victory Rooms, May 25th, 1927, which makes me 95 years old. My parents had a rooming house, hotel business, and when we became 13 years old, they decided that we should do a few things around the house, the building. So I started sweeping the stairs when I was about 13 years old, up from upstairs to downstairs. We had a hotel business at 391 Powell Street. It was called, he bought it in 1927, and it was called Nankai Ryokan, but he changed it to Victory Rooms. And I was born there in 1927. We had 63 rooms, each equipped with both hot and cold water, which was luxury in those days. Our family lived right in the hotel with 3 reserved bedrooms for my parents, my 2 brothers, and my sister and I. The office served as our living room, but the main activity was in our kitchen. Washrooms with a bathtub were located at each end of the hall, 2 floors in total. Back of the building, there was a large washroom for men. Our father was often busy with the care of the rooming house business, and the children were all involved in keeping the corridors and stairs swept and polished, the brass fittings on the stairs. The 1930s were Depression years. However, our family lived quite well and never suffered. I was at the United Church Kindergarten, and it was about a block away from our place. And I also attended Strathcona Elementary School, Japanese language school after the English school. And later on, when I became grade 9, I attended Grandview High. At the outbreak of the World War II, I continued my high school education at Chase Superior School, including correspondence courses offered through Victoria, BC. This was the building that I went to at Japanese language school. Oh, I went 5 days a week, right after the English school. This is my father and mother in front of Victory Rooms. Okay, this is the building where our hotel was. This is the family photo. 1933 is the year this was taken, I guess. In 1931, I went to Japan with my mother. And in 1937, I also went again. And this is a picture of myself. I think that's me. And my sister, my mother, and my mother's sister in Japan. Oh, my first language was Japanese. We always spoke Japanese at home. With your parents? With my parents, yes. Oh, we learned English from our childhood days because our customers at Victory Rooms were mostly English people. Not too many Japanese people, yeah. Just a few. I was looking after his books for him. I loved doing the books for him, checking to make sure they paid and how much or whatever. That I must have been about 13 or 14, but no, just to check to make sure that they paid and whatever. We ate all kinds of food. Mom would make stew. We loved stew. And in fact, we were being made fun of because my mom would always buy potatoes and stewing beef and all kinds of things. We ate mostly yoshoku. Yoshoku is English food, yeah. We had rice too. Rice was also mixed too with yoshoku. Excuse me.
During the war, when you were in Vernon and Chase, did you also eat, what did you eat?
We all ate all kinds of food, yes.
Like
yeah.
what?
Yoshoku or Japanese food. We would, and as a matter of fact, Mrs. Patterson, I think I got it in there, taught my mother how to make bread. So, she would make bread, and we would have lots of bread, buns, yeah. Oh yes, I could speak Japanese.
And so you're like bilingual from the time you were little?
I would think so, yes. Because in our hotel business, we had Hakushin people, white people, and Japanese people, so we had to speak both languages. Japanese cultures, you tend to speak very gently, so I like it.
Is there anything you don't like?
No. I think it's a good language to know, and I think people are, I don't know, easier to get along with. It's nice. Well, we didn't do anything but to learn. There was no games or anything like that, except for a kid behind me would, punch me from the back or something, or that's about it.
And can you read and write Japanese as well?
A little bit, not much.
So I'm curious about your name, Mary, because you were born in
27.
1927. Did your mom give you an English name, or what is your?
Because we had lots of, English people living, so they always call me Mary, So I was named Fusae Mary at that time.
And did your parents call you Mary or Fusae?
She used to call me Medico.
Oh. So a mix of English
and Japanese.
Oh, that's so sweet. And your dad, what did he call you?
He called me Medico too.
And your brothers and sisters?
I guess they were calling me that too. I don't know. I can't remember now.
And your friends at school, what did they call you?
No, they call me Mary.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Because I went to kindergarten and everything from, Only when there was something special going on, we used to go and, put Japanese kimono on.
Did you like wearing a kimono?
Not really. Yeah, because when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, that was the end of the happy life. I think it became a nightmare for us. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, our peaceful, happy life turned into a nightmare. Anyone of Japanese descent was now considered enemy aliens and were required to move at least 100 miles inland from the coast of BC. Most families chose to move to government-controlled relocation centers, but my father chose to be independent self-supporters. My mother, sister, and I were sent to Vernon, BC during March 1942 until May 20th, staying with friends on their farm. My dad and brother remained in Vancouver to close up the hotel, and of course, due to time restrictions, my father was unable to receive fair market price. Clearly difficult to swallow after running the successful hotel operation for approximately 15 years. It should be noted that my eldest brother, Asao Mac, was attending Toyo Daigaku University in Tokyo, Japan in 1940. To make a long story short, with the war in 1941, communication was cut off, and Asao had to remain in Japan. He ended up marrying in 1946 and had 2 children. Asao finally was able to visit Canada 3 times, in July 1972, again in 1979, and final trip in 1995. My brother passed away in 1996. This picture was taken when I was going to sewing class in West Road, BC. And this is a picture of my boyfriend at that. He came to see me from, I think, where was it now? Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
This is my, yeah. And this is me.
Which one's you?
Yeah, this is me. This picture was my sewing class picture, 1946 and 47. And that's about it. Thank you.
Great.
So we went to a place called Skamikan after we went to Vernon. And there was about 10 families living there. And we built our own homes. But there was no school there except the country school. And my father didn't like the idea of a country school. So he asked the RCMP, and we went down to Chase to go to this proper school. So we were able to get a home there. The RCMP was very kind, yeah. So that's about all we did, yeah. And my brother got along really well with the Chase kids, you know, because he was very good in sports. So we got along well, yeah. And after the war, we came back to Vancouver. Oh yeah, I first got married in December 11, 1948.
Could you show us your photo?
Okay.
Wow, it's a beautiful dress. Did you sew the dress?
I think we made it ourselves. Mm-hmm. And this was my first husband,
And who is your first husband?
Satoshi Araki. So I must have got married around 1948 or something, yeah. And this is my kids, Ron and Karen.
Oh, this is cute.
When my second child was just a few months old, tragedy struck and I lost my first husband in November 1951, when his shrimp boat was lost at sea. Because we had lots of sugar, Mom, you know, my father bought a whole sack full, 100-pound sack full of sugar and sent it to us in Vernon while we were there. So we had plenty of sugar. So the RCMP, he always used to come down to have a cup of tea with us because he wanted the sugar in his. Oh yeah, we got along really well, yeah. I enjoyed going out of the house, and I was always helping around the church.
Which church did you help at?
At Vancouver Buddhist Temple. Mm-hmm.
And what kind of help did you do?
And all kinds of things, actually. I was looking after the books too for a while.
So were you the treasurer?
Something like that, yeah.
And what was could you explain what the Fujinkai did at the temple?
Oh, whenever they had service, and after that we had tea, so we made stuff for the tea. We had looking after that was quite something. It was very nice. Enjoyed myself.
And so the Fujinkai was made up of lots of women or men? Or?
Fujinkai was mostly women. Men were not Fujinkai. Fujinkai means Japanese ladies.
And when you were in the Fujinkai, did you talk mostly Japanese?
I don't remember. Mostly English and Japanese mixed, I think. You know, for people that couldn't understand English, we spoke Japanese.
And what kinds of fundraising did you do?
I really don't know. I
Do you
think
remember the bazaars?
whenever people were coming to the church, they always brought money for the church. And there's bazaars that we made money on. Bazaars are like ladies that they bring, they make something at home and they bring it to church to donate, and so that the church would sell it and make money.
What kinds of things did you make?
We used to make all kinds of things, actually. I used to make manju. Some people made what do you call those things? English stuff, the cookies and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, mostly manju and cookies and things like that.
And what about sushi? Did you make maki sushi?
That we made it at school, at the church, yeah. And the ingredients, we made it at the church.
And so at the bazaar, what did the Fujinkai do?
Fujinkai? I really don't know, but I think, whenever they had a service, we always served tea and whatever. And that's about it, I guess. It's been a long time, ever since I came to Vancouver.
So you came to Vancouver.
Now, after the evacuation,
Yeah.
what year was it now? What, must have been about 1950. Yeah, my kids were born in 1950, so I guess around that time.
And then you've been volunteering in the Fujinkai, which was the women's auxiliary, since the 50s.
And I enjoyed it because I was able to get out of the house in the evening sometimes. Yes.
Did you have lots of meetings?
Quite a few meetings, yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how much you raised for fundraising every year?
I don't
I remember you counting the money.
I know. I was a treasurer for a long time, but I can't remember how much we made, but
You made quite a lot at a bazaar, like around $15,000 in the 80s. Yeah, it was a lot. All the cash. You were so good at counting the
I enjoyed doing that. These photos are the Fujinkai ladies that we went on holiday to Thailand. And this is me on par 3 in Kauai. Oh yes, we had lots of friends and we had good times doing things together. We really enjoyed ourselves. And we also had a dance group. My friends, we used to go dancing in the evenings whenever we could. And this place where we used to go was just up the street from where I used to live, so it was very handy. And these are my golfing friends. I'm a Buddhist. Although I did go to kindergarten at United Church. So I'm just a mixture. I was in Japan when I was about 3 years old. Again, when I was about 10 years old. And before I got, in my teens, I used to go. Because my parents sent my mother to visit her parents and whatever. So, and once we went for a wedding of her brother.
And what did it feel like for you when you went to Japan?
You know what I did? I looked towards the hills and cried for my dad every morning.
Why did you cry?
Because I missed him so much.
Oh, in Japan.
And then it starts, there she goes again. Everything was nice there, yeah.
Your relatives, the people, or
Oh, yeah. And it's so clean. Everything is so clean there. Even inside the train or anything, it's so clean.